Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, Kevin, we had a squirrel on the back porch. He came up, knocked on the door, and said, "Excuse me, the birds want me to ask you whether you might be filling up the bird feeder again pretty soon."
I got that this morning. I'm dying laughing. Yeah, they do that.
That's exactly what they do. I I've got several 5-gallon buckets right underneath the table here, and we've got a bucket of sunflower seeds and a bucket of peanuts. So a lot of the birds like peanuts, like all the blue jays love peanuts, etc., etc. But so do the squirrels. So I've got the bird feeder fixed in such a way on a pole with a slinky and a baffle. They can't get up to the bird feeder. They try. They have tried a couple times and they just gave up. They don't even try anymore. But I always scatter some peanuts out for the squirrels too, so they're happy.
Yeah,
We're 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 an equal opportunity restaurant.
I went bought 110 pounds of bird feed at Tractor Supply yesterday. So
Oh yeah, good. There you go.
I go through 15, 20 pounds a month easy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we do too. We probably go through
Probably closer to 40 pounds a month.
yeah, probably something like that. Yeah, 40 to 50 pounds. Okay, so what we were going to do today is finish out move number two, and also talk a little bit about how the Danshan grows and shrinks, etc., etc. So let's start with the Tai Chi move, and we'll start from the beginning of the form, and we'll go through the whole second move, and then we'll do it a couple of times. So I'll lead the first one, then Jill can lead, then Catherine can lead, um, and Carlos, we'll give you a break here until you've had a chance to review this move, um, and then we'll go through that move in great detail. Okay, so from the beginning. Buddha's warrior pounds the mortar. Um, do you know where that move got its name? Buddha's warrior pounds the mortar. So normally when you think of a mortar, you think of a mortar and pestle. So I have a big bowl and it's full of some kind of grain, and I've got a mortar and I pound it in there. Boom, 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 boom. It's sort of like that, but it's much bigger. A mortar in China goes way, way back into their agricultural past, where there were mortars the size of a human being, and they were on the end of a long pole, right? So that they would boom, 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 right? So it's sort of a communal thing. And how did they run them? Well, they used leverage. So it was a long pole on a fulcrum, right? And they used their foot, right? That's what pounding the mortar is. Not so much this one as this one. Right? Boom, boom, boom. Now, if you're doing that, if you're pounding the mortar and you do it wrong, you will screw yourself up. And you won't be any use because after you do that for about an hour, they're going to take you to the hospital, right? Don't put your weight into it. That is incorrect. If you were running one of those pistols, your weight is going to stay on the left foot, and you're just going to use your right foot like this. It's very light. All right? Boom, boom, boom. In other words, what goes down is not so much your physical body as it is your energy body. All right? It's not this. All right? It's this. So you can think of it as kind of doing a whip-like motion, right, onto the floor. Boom. All right? Make sense? Okay. So you can divide the second move up, as I was saying yesterday, into 3 parts. We did the first part. We'll just review it really quickly. All right? First move ends. Clockwise. Counterclockwise. And 1, 2. First move ends. Clockwise circle. Counterclockwise circle. And 1, 2. I'm going to do it again with my back to the camera. But I just wanted to say, what we're trying to get this first time through is just the gross choreography. There are lots of fine details that you need to learn to do this correctly. So, for instance, what is this? Well, you got to learn what that is, but we'll learn that later. Yeah, Kevin?
I thought it was actually a question.
Oh, okay. Well, Kevin knows what it is, all right? You need to know what it is so that you have the right mental intention. But if we slow down to do all the details, well, it'll be very slow. So let's just get the gross choreography here. All right, here's the same part of the move with my back to the camera. End of the first move. Clockwise circle. Counterclockwise circle. And 1, 2. End of the first move. Clockwise circle. Counterclockwise circle. And 1, 2. All right. Okay, Jill, why don't you lead us in one? And call out the script. Carlos, one of the things that I try to do, that I do for the first time through the form, is give people a script. It helps with the learning process. The script itself is not important, but you can make up your own. But I've developed this script over the years to fit each of the moves in the simplest possible way. So I just did the script, right? End of the first move. All right? Clockwise circle. Counterclockwise circle. And 1, 2. So you can see by that there are actually 4 subpoints within this first section of move 2. All right, Jill, go ahead and do that. Call out the script.
Okay, I'll try to do the simple form because of course I've got my head full of. All right. End of first move. Clockwise circle. Counterclockwise circle. 1, 2.
Good. Now do it again with your back to the camera.
Okay. End of first move. Clockwise circle. Counterclockwise circle. 1, 2.
Good. All right. Okay, Catherine, same thing. Once facing the camera, once with your back to the camera.
Okay. And the first movement. Clockwise circle. Counterclockwise. 1, 2.
Good. Okay, and once with your back to the camera.
And the first movement. Clockwise circle. Counterclockwise. 1, 2.
Good. Okay, and Carlos, like I said, we'll give you a day off here, but be ready to do it next week on Saturday, right? So practice in between. All right, the second part of this looks like this. So you think of that as like the middle part. So it's one big circle. However, it's a circle that moves in 2 dimensions. And that makes doing this actually rather sophisticated. Let me sort of call them out, and you can work on this as time goes on. Hold on here. Okay, so I put my qua on and my dantian belly button. The secret to this middle part is going to be sinking into your hip joints. These are not your hip joints. These are your hip joints inside, right? So watch. Sink. Sink. Now my weight is on the right leg. So I'm going to sink more in the right side because that's bearing my weight. And then I'm going to move to the left leg. When I move to the left leg, now I have to sink in the red claw because now that's bearing my weight. So what happens is a movement inside like this. sink, 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 sink. Okay, if you think about that, if I put my feet side by side, it's a movement like this. That's half of a shoe circle. That's the yin half, the under half of a shoe circle. And then we're going to do the over half, right? Watch. All right. Here comes the under half. There's the over half. And then again, I'm going to sink in the blue claw. However, now that should be pretty plain what's going on. If I put my feet side to side, it becomes very easy to see, right? It's just like the first circle, all right, before. Sink in the quad, sink in the right quad, come over and then sink in the blue quad again, right? So it's like this. Blue, red, blue. The only thing that's that's what we do at the beginning of this move. Watch. The first move ends. Clockwise circle. Boom. It's exactly the same thing. All right. Now, that circle happens to be a little bigger, but inside it's the same thing. What's different about this is your feet. Because you've got 1 foot back and 1 foot forward. All right? That puts a complication in here. The complication is you're going to have to add a ping circle, all right? You're going to have to add a ping circle into that shoe circle. This is just a pure shoe circle, side to side circle. This is a pure ping circle, right? Now, watch. I want to call out the pingness in this because this is a hybrid circle that's maybe 65% shoe and 35% ping. If you don't get the ping, it won't work. So you've got to do both of them at the same time. Watch. Sink in the blue. Now, as I come around here, that's just like a ping circle. Ping. Ping, just like when we do the grindstone. Right? Only I've got my right foot back. Ping. 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 Right? So watch. Sink. Right? Ping. Now comes the shoe, but I'm also moving back in ping. So both of them are going on at the same time. Both ping and shoe. Catherine, is this clear?
It's clear, but it's complicated.
Yes, it is. One of the things that can help is understanding what your targets are.
Yeah.
Every Tai Chi move has a target. It might be a block, right? In which case you're blocking something, so that's your target. It might be a strike, that's your target. Might be China, that's your target. So what is the target here? You can think of both targets as blocks. Watch. all right? Some guy's running up toward me from that direction, all right? And he's gonna kick me. And where's he gonna kick me? He's gonna kick me in my knee because my knee is out front, right? He wants to kick me right here. Oh, he wants to kick me here. So what can I do? Well, the simplest thing would be to move out of his way. But for whatever reason, I can't move out of his way. So I need to block him. Block. Well, that's not, if you're going to block somebody, it's like this. Block. Block. When you block him, you're probably not going to use your hand to block him. You're probably going to use the underside of your wrist. Right? So that's blocking. Boom. If you just use your arm from the shoulder, that's very weak. And you know, some guy coming in to kick you, well, he's got the weight of his body behind the kick. So you don't want a weak response. You want a strong response, which means you need to engage your whole core. You sink in the blue, and you do a ping circle. Right? Your whole core is moving. That's what does the block, is your core, not your hand, but your core. All right. So what happens? I don't know whether you can see this or whether I can do this. Your hand comes out and it goes around your knee. It goes out and it goes around your knee because your whole body is going around your knee. All right. You shift your weight from the blue to the red, and you're very conscious of your daimai. All right. Your whole daimai, your equator, all right, which is where the mass of your body is, the moment of greatest inertial mass, right? That's what does it. Which means when you get done, your knee should be open and your hand should be beyond the knee. Now, if you're really young and strong, and you've got good flexibility, it should look like this. Right? But we're not all young and flexible. So you make an approximation of that. If you were to watch Master Feng or Master Zhang do that, they don't do it like they're 16 years old. They do it like they're 65 or 75 years old, like me. So you don't go down and do it like a kid and wreck your knees. But you don't completely cheat either. You try to get, yeah, okay, there's an amount of shu going on in there, right? Just like this, side to side. But there's also a lot of ping going on. And somehow you've got to feel how much of each one gets the job done. Right? Sink in the blue, right? Rotate your daimai as you now sink in the red, and that does the block. Now you got to come back. Coming back is a second block. This is a very common block. some guy's hand is coming in, maybe he's trying to punch you in the nose, it could be a backhand or whatever. You intercept it. You don't try to grab it per se, but you intercept it. Sometimes what you do is you squeeze it without grabbing it. You just sort of squeeze, and then the knob of the wrist will be enough here. And you come behind at the elbow. Now you're controlling his forearm. So it comes in, boom, boom, boom. That's what you're doing. So that's also a block. Sink in the blue. Turn your daimai. Sink in the red. Right? Now you're going to expand upward. Pung. You're not going to lift your red. You're just going to expand the dantian. Expand upward. And now you're going to do the same thing in reverse, only instead of it going down like this, now it's going to come around like this. So you're completing the circle. Jill, is this clear? Sink in the blue, all right? Turn the dantian, sink in the red, right? Expand, come across the top of the belly, and now sink in the blue again. Your left hand should be, your thumb should be on your right nipple, all right? And your, this hand should be not hyperextended, but also not like this, right? Should be stretched out a little bit. Catherine, stretch out more. More. Yeah, that's okay. Up a little bit. I'll tell you why you don't want your elbow to be less than 90 degrees. You don't even want it at 90 degrees. Why not, Kevin?
Because it'll collapse so you can get control of the other.
It's very easy for somebody to collapse your arm when it's less than 90 degrees, or even at 90 degrees, all right? So if it's at 90 degrees, he's going to chop your and pull it in. So instead, you want it extended a little bit. Also, don't forget you're blocking this guy. You don't want him in close to you. You want him arm's length away if it's at all possible, all right? All right. Also, think about part of Tai Chi as aesthetic. You are learning an art, an aesthetic art. It is many other things, but it is also that. So you want to pay attention to your lines. If you're an equestrian and you're on a horse, you want good lines. You want a good seat. You want the horse to have beautiful lines, and you, as the rider, want to have beautiful lines, and the two of you together want to work together with beautiful lines, right? Look at the difference between this and this. Look at the difference between this and this. Which one is beautiful? This one, or this one? All right? This is one of the reasons why working with a mirror is really valuable for you, because you may think you're doing certain things, but you see yourself in the mirror and you go, oh, well, I'm not doing that. I'm doing something else. I'm lifting my shoulder and hyperextending. Well, just relax. Right? Or I'm kind of a little in. Right? And what you will find is these are habits of motion that you have. It's like everybody has a language of motion. They may not think of it that way, but they do. And that language is expressive, but it can also be restrictive. So becoming aware of your own language allows you a greater range of expression because you realize, oh, I have a habit of doing X, Y, or Z. Well, I don't really want a habit of X, Y, or Z. I want to be free to do the whole spectrum of motion, not just be locked in on one little thing. All right. Also, Tai Chi is deliberately, even though we're not practicing this as a martial art, it is a martial art, and we keep it that way on purpose because the martial art is very practical. It has to work. If it doesn't work, it's not good, right? Then on top of that, you have to make it beautiful, right? So when you're like this and you're trying to do something, it won't work. So it's not good. If you're like this and you're trying to do something, it won't work. So scratch those. Those habits are not going to work. All right. Instead, you need to be extended but not hyperextended, and you need to be relaxed. Boom. Catherine, does that make sense?
Yeah. I have a problem with my computer. It's not.
Oh.
Yeah. It does make
Okay.
sense. Sorry.
This part of the second move is actually quite difficult. It's one of the more difficult places in the form, and it's right there at the beginning of the, or in the middle of the second move. But if you just remember, you're doing 2 circles at the same time, one flat and the other side to side, right? Then you should have no trouble. Sink in the blue. Turn the daimai. Sink in the red. Expand the danxian. The danxian is expanding. All right? Come back and then sink in the blue again. All right? You come back, watch my hands. Come back, sink. Come back, I've got hold of his arm. Now I let go, and this is just a block. Boom. Okay, we only have a few minutes left. Let's get the last part in here. We'll have to review all this next Saturday. All right, sink again. Now, in a sense, you're going to do the same move again, or at least the beginning of it. All right? Stretch out. That could again be a block. All right? But this hand is going to remain back here. All right? Boom. You're going to make a fist with the right. All right? And it should be right over your knee. And then you sink in the blue again, transfer to the red. Again, you might be blocking. And now this hand is going to sweep out in a big circle. And it's going to come back on your midline to the mid-chest. That's the counterweight to this whole side walking through. Now, it's a very simple movement, but there's a lot of moving parts in there. And what you have to get is the timing of those parts. Because I think it was Jill who said yesterday when we were watching Master Fun, we watched that little clip of Master Fun, that he always seemed centered.
I see.
Was it Catherine? Okay, Catherine said it. When you're centered, you're grounded. When you're grounded, you can act. When you're not grounded, you can't act. When you are grounded, well, you can act, but you're not going to accomplish anything. When you're grounded, you can act effectively. So in order to do this move, you've got to be grounded. In order to be grounded, you've got to be centered. In order to be centered, the timing of all the parts has to be right. So this usually takes some real experimentation on your part to find the timing. This motion here with the hand is critical. It seems like such a little thing. You know, you stretch out, make this tiny little motion here. Well, what could that do? It's true that it's a small motion, but it's an extended arm. So just think about leverage, how leverage works. When you have a lever extended, the weight at the end of the lever is worth more than if the weight is in your center line. I'll show you. This is a 12-pound weight. If I hold it here by my center line, it's really not a problem. Now, everybody do this in their head. Hold that 12-pound weight in your head. Now, hold it out here. Oh, that doesn't feel like 12 pounds anymore. That feels like 40 pounds, right? That's what I mean. Right? So you've got that weight out there. All right, that weight, even though it seems small, it's got this multiplier effect from the leverage, and it's enough to counterbalance all the movement of the right side of the body. Now, you're going to have to figure out the timing for your own body type, for how you are constructed. All right? For me, what I do is I go out, I come around, and it's when my hand begins to come back that I walk through. Check out that timing, see whether that works for you. All right? You'll know it's right when it feels effortless. And when you feel like you're centered and grounded throughout the motion. You don't feel like you're bobbling or losing your weight a little bit, or it feels like it doesn't all quite fit together. It's a small little motion, but it's tricky.
Gotta be aware of the weight transfer. That's how I got it.
Yeah, all right, there's a big weight transfer there. Block, block, come around, walk through. All right, now relax. Just look at my feet. Watch my feet. It's not here. It's not here. It's here. Half a foot length ahead of my left toes. Watch my left foot. Why do I want to open my toes there? Well, for one thing, so I can sink in the red claw and block. But on the other thing is I need to open my pelvis a little bit so I can walk through comfortably. When you stand in Tai Chi with one foot forward, the other foot, the foot that's backward, is at about 30 degrees. Maybe 45 degrees, but more often 30 degrees. It's not straight like this. It's not like yang style like this. Right? It's about at 30 degrees. So when you do this move, I need to open those toes so that when I walk through, this foot is still at 30 degrees. That's a good sturdy stance. All right? With a little distance between the feet this way, laterally. walk through. All right. Finish this move. One way to think of this move is someone's got their hand on you. Their hand is on you. You trap their hand, and then you come up right underneath their arm, right up underneath their elbow, and watch. You press down with the left hand. You roll upward with the right. Or just do it very gently, right? And then, right, rake down their body with your forward knuckles. These are your back knuckles. These are your forward knuckles. You're going to rake down their body, right down their center line with your forward knuckles. And you don't know what you're going to hit. Maybe you're going to hit their forehead. Maybe you're going to hit their nose. Maybe you're going to hit their chin. Maybe you're going to hit their solar plexus. You just go down the whole center line of the body. All right? And then this is a backhand. Center line, backhand. All right? You're just hitting with the back of the hand into the nose. 1, 2, now watch this side. 3. Some guy grabs your arm here, right? You come on top of his arm and just use your body weight to pull him down. Make sense? Right? You sink into the red quad. You're not doing it with the arm, trying to force it down. You sink into the quad. Just sink into the quad, turn your dynamite. So your own arm acts like a wedge, but it's not the power. The power's coming from here. Right down his body. Backhand to his nose. Right? This is, you can think of this as an escape. And when you do it, look what happens to your daimai and your danchen. It's naturally going to pull your other arm over. Now come around your danchen and up to your breast. And as it gets up to your breast, it lifts your leg and pop. Pop. You don't shift your weight to the right. You just pop. Just like my towel on the floor, right? Pop. 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 Master Zhang used to say, your chi should go down, not your body. And he would listen to you. He would turn around and face the other direction and tell you whether you were doing it right or not by how it sounded, right? If it sounds like this, no, bude, 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 not correct, right? Instead, it should sound like this. Not like this. Can you tell the difference? All right, snap. Let's do the whole thing. All right. We didn't go through this. We'll have to do it next week. All right. Boom. You look this direction. You're stopping someone. Now you got to turn and look forward again. Don't move forward until you look first. All right. You got to be just like a cat. You got to look before you move. All right. Look. Sink in the blue. Turn your daimai. Block. Sink in the red. And then over, and then sink again. Again, open your toes, turn your daimai, stretch out. Now, this acts like a balance beam. And just walk through. Relax. 1, 2, turn to the left, and boom. That's it. Easy. Very easy. Okay, practice it this week. We'll pick it up and we'll fill a few more details in next week that I didn't have time for this week. But you got the basics of it. Yes? Good.
Yeah.
Master Zhang, I'll tell you what Master Zhang would say. He said, you go home. You go home, practice. Maybe you forget. Maybe you forget. Practice. Okay, guys, have a great day. We'll see you next time. Ciao.